created the basic design for your car, you now need to refine it so that you'll be able to add the wheels and also the CO2 canister, which acts as the propulsion unit. First, click on the Sketch tab on your toolbar. You'll see your design in 2 dimensions again, as though you're looking down on the car from above like this. Click on Rectangle on your toolbar and draw a rectangular shape over the area where your near-side rear wheel will sit. Bear in mind that the diameter of your wheel is 24 millimeters and that you need adequate clearance around it so that it won't come into contact with the body. So if you make your rectangle 28 millimeters wide, that should provide plenty of clearance. Make sure the bottom line of your rectangle doesn't overlap the housing area of your car. Now, as you did earlier when you were creating the basic symmetrical shape of your car, click on the Construction Line button at the right-hand side of the toolbar, then click the Center Line button. Now click the Straight Line button and draw a broken line along the X-axis from just in front of the car to just behind it. Next, click on Mirror and then click on all the sides of the rectangle. Click on Mirror Line, then Apply, and then Done, and finally Finish Sketch. You'll now have 2 symmetrically placed rectangles above the rear wings. You next need to extrude these to allow you to make the cutaways in the rear wings for the wheels. Make sure you're on the 3D Model tab at the top of your toolbar, and then click on the Extrude button. Now click on each of the rectangles and in the Extrude dialog box on your screen, go to the column of Cuts and choose the second one down. Then on the Extent menu, select Distance and All, then click OK. You've now created the cutaways for the wheels. Now, to make the car more aerodynamic, you need to round off some of its sharp edges. So click on the Filleting tool on your toolbar. This will allow you to highlight the edges on your design, shown here, which you'd like to have rounded off. Make sure not to highlight either the ends of the design when you do this, as it would create a bad join when the rear wing and the nose cone are applied. You next need to create a space within the housing for the compressed CO2 canister to sit. Turn the car around and click on the rear panel, and on the Sketch tab on your toolbar, select the Ellipse and Circle tool to draw a circle on the back of the car. With your cursor, hover over the curve of your housing and a black dot will appear, which is the center of your circle. Click on that and it'll turn green and allow you to open up a new circle in the center of your housing. You need to make that circle 19 millimeters in diameter, because that's the size required for the canister to fit comfortably but not too loosely into the housing of your car. Now click Finish Sketch. Next, making sure you're on the 3D Model tab on your toolbar, click on the Extrude tool again. Extrude the circle you've just drawn to 52 millimeters and choose Cut on the dialog box on your screen. This will reverse the extrusion and create a hollow space in the housing for your CO2 canister. The next job is to create a cutaway on the back of the car to house the back wing. Highlight the rear end of your car and go back to the Sketch tab on your toolbar and use the Circle tool again to create a circle from the center point on the back end of your car. This time, make the circle 23 millimeters across. Now, click on the Rectangle tool and draw a rectangle across the center line of the circle. The exact size of the rectangle doesn't particularly matter, as long as it's larger than the top of the housing. Next, click the Trim button and click on the center line of your circle and trim it away. Then click on the bottom half of your circle and trim that away too. Now click Finish Sketch to return to the 3D Model tab. What you need to do now is again use the extrude button on your toolbar and extrude the semicircular edge of the housing canopy you've just drawn. Next, you need to form the holes which the axles will run through. Click on the flat inner surface of the cutaway you made for the rear wheel of the car. The size of the gap you created is 28mm. Now click on the Circle tool. Move your cursor from the left-hand edge of the wheel cutaway until you get to 14mm. That's the center of the cutaway. Then type in 4.5. That's the diameter of the straws you'll be inserting for the axles of the car. Now, with your cursor, follow the center line from the center of your axle circle along the length of the car and create another 4.5mm circle at the front end of the car for the front axle. Then click Finish Sketch. Again, you need to extrude these shapes and cut them away. Click on Extrude and select the two circles and extrude them. Then select Cut in the dialog box and in the drop-down box choose Distance and All, and the axle holes will be formed. Finally, to complete your car body, you need to make two holes in the front of the car for the nose cone to fit into. Click on the front of the car, then click on the Circle tool once again. Make two 4mm circles and keep them on the same line. To make sure they're evenly placed, click on Dimension on the toolbar and select the center point for one of the circles and the outside edge of the front end of the car. Do the same with the second circle and its outer edge. If the dimensions are not exactly the same, you can just change one or other in the relevant Edit Dimension box until they are. Here we've made each hole 7mm in from the outer edge of the front of the car. Once again, you need to extrude these circles using the Extrude tool, then cut them inside the front of the car, this time to a depth of 8mm. Once you've done this, you'll have created your Formula One car body.